Alrighty. I am heading back from Bondi. The last time I did one of these, I was driving to Bondi and they did quite well. So today I thought I'd get the DJI back going, crank some tunes while I'm driving home and have a bit of a talk to you. Today I'm all talking about the digital coffee shop and how I, at 21, have built two six-figure businesses, not per month, not yet, but we're very close. We're doing very well. I'm very proud of our achievements, me and my business partner, and I'm going to explain to you today exactly how my ecosystem works and why I call it an ecosystem, who I learned this from, where I have learned this at such a young age, how I'm able to achieve such success at a young age. So I'm going to explain to you how I do this step by step so you can potentially implement this for your business and see results. But first, I need a little bit of a cruisy playlist to get the mind flowing. Otherwise, this isn't going to work for me. Let me see what we got playing. It's a guy with 3 wheels and he's on a scooter. How does that work? I will be stopping off along the way, getting a long black. Iced, of course, iced. It's a bit hot in here. As always, my AC doesn't really work. All right, let's get it. Nice chill beat. So, the digital coffee shop. How does it work? Why do I call it a digital coffee shop? Who did I learn this from? First of all, credit is due where credit is due. I learned this from a creator named Fredrik. Apologies, Fredrik. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name because it is complicated, but I will link him below. Very, very successful creator. He does around 500K per year profit. That's USD in personal branding, e-com space. So I learned a lot from him. He has a very, very good YouTube site. So what he invented was this summary called the digital coffee shop. Now, I really, really resonate to this because when I first started out on social media, I had what you call a one funnel system. And what that is I used to run a singular funnel. So I would help people grow their personal brands. It would be a high ticket around like 6K US to work directly one-to-one with me. Now, every single person that came into my DM, I tried to funnel them. This is a shit song. Yeah, better song. I tried to funnel them into my one-to-one. Now yes, of course, it did quite well. I scaled this quite fast, but the reality is not every single person can do one-to-one. And you're missing out on a lot of opportunity if you are to position this one person into one-to-one all the time. So what I did is I learned from Fredrik and I created what I like to call a digital coffee shop. And now this is an ecosystem. In short, it means you have multiple offers. Sorry, this might be a little bit annoying, so I'm gonna move out there. So how this works is, in the digital coffee shop, you gotta think about it logically, right? When you go to a coffee shop and you walk past a coffee shop, there's so many of them. The hardest thing to do is get them in the door. This is the hardest thing. Now, the reason why this is so hard is because think of how many other options there are out there. Why does that one coffee shop stand out to you? Well, maybe it's a nice vibe. Maybe it's in a great location. Maybe the waitress there you're attracted to. I'm not too sure, but the reality is that's like the online space. The online space is very saturated. So the hardest part is essentially getting them in your door. But once you get them in the door, that is where the magic happens. Now, let's think about this logically, right? When you go and buy, let's say you're a ice long black, like what I said at the start. I'm an ice long black type of guy. Now, nothing's gonna really persuade my mind elsewise to buy something else. And that's a good thing because when I walk into a coffee shop, I have never once in my life had someone say to me, yeah, don't buy that, buy this. Because the reality is the coffee shop isn't trying to sell you on a singular product. They're giving you a range of options. They're giving you a menu card. And this is where Fredrik really comes into play. He classifies his products as a menu card. Now what happens is as someone walks in the door and as someone goes to purchase from the coffee shop, they say, hey, can I get an ice long black? Or hey, can I get a macchiato? Or hey, can I get a piccolo? Whatever it is. The waitress, or I should say the barista, goes, of course, how would you like it? Or of course, what size? She would never say, or he will never say, no, don't buy that, buy this. And this is how I think of my business now. That when someone comes in the door, you need to have multiple options from them to pick from. And this is where the ecosystem comes into play. Again, let's think about this logically. When you go to a coffee shop, you're at a stage where you're okay paying $6 for a coffee. what happens there is you purchase the coffee. It is a done for you service. Someone will make the coffee for you, they'll ground the beans, they'll brew the milk, whatever it is, and they will give it to you. And you pay for that tangible product. That's a done for you service. Now, what also happens is then you can have a done with you service. And this is where you buy, let's say, an espresso shot. Now, you still have to insert the coffee prod, you still have to press play, you still have to fill up the water tank to get water in, but the reality is it's a done with you. They have the system and the structure to make you the coffee, but you still have to make it yourself. Then you have the do it yourself. And that is when you either ground the beans yourself or you go to Woolworths, wherever your local area is. In Australia, it's Woolworths, and you buy what you call instant coffee or ground coffee. You have to make the coffee from scratch. Now, that is a do-it-yourself where someone is providing you with the product, the course, whatever it is, and you are learning and you are doing it and you are making it yourself. Now, these are the 3 tiers of a coffee shop, and this is what I have implemented into my business. I implemented this into my business by doing a done for you service called Done For You. That is my marketing agency. I have a social media marketing agency where we deal with content ideation, content strategy, content liaising. We deal with editing, videoing, content creation, every single thing that you need, every single thing if you're in the US, we do everything but from filming. If you're in Australia, we do filming for you. So that's my agency. Now, that runs on a retainer model, and that's a very, very specific ICP. It's the same with a specific person that wants to buy coffee. If you're buying coffee out every single day, you have the funds to spend on it. And even if you don't, you feel like the service is so necessary that you're okay spending $6, $7 a day on someone to make a coffee when you could just do it yourself for 50 cents a day. Now, the reality is this is for a certain person, someone who doesn't have much time, someone who's short in advance, someone who wants things to do it for them because they have other priorities. And that is where my agency comes in. So I target sales reps, sales consultants, sales managers, sales employees. And the reason for this is because these people don't have time. And the reason why I find this is because when you create social media, it's very hard to tie a KPI or a metric to the outcome of organic social media, because what happens is when you post online, you're only really gauging the metrics of views, likes, comments, engagement rate. You can't really tie that to how much revenue you're creating unless you are creating a specific offer or unless you are tracking the booked per calls, etc. Okay? So what I do is I target these sales reps, these consultants, these sales managers. And the reason for this is because in that industry, if you're in the sales industry, is when you either make a hire or you make a sale, usually when it's you hire, you earn a percentage of when that person hires. So let's take this for example. Majority of my clients are door-to-door salesmen. Now, I work with the sales managers of the door-to-door. These guys who want to build personal brands. They want the aura, they want the status, they want to show how much they're making, because in sales you make a lot of money. But the reality is they make their most money when they hire somebody. When they bring a hire into the company, that's an extra 60 grand in annual revenue from what that sales rep will make in profits, and then the sales manager gets a cut. So in short, the reason why I target these people is because they know the leverage of social media in attraction to good employees. They know the leverage of social media when it comes to authority. They know the leverage of social media when it comes to status. And to be full frank with you, people that work in sales love aura. They love money, they love aura. And so what I do is I really tie into this pain point. Now, this took me a while to get to this niche, but now that I'm in the niche, it's absolutely blowing up. And I've really gone, this is a shit song by the way, I've really gone really hard in this niche, and so that is my Done For You agency. Now, I've only just recently launched that 3 months after implementing this ecosystem into my page. Now, before this, I had my one-to-one. Now, my one-to-one is for individuals who want to scale their content to endless results and scale their business. Because what I'm finding is I'm actually acting as a growth operator, where I'm scaling these guys' content so much that they're getting so much attraction that then they eventually are able to monetize. So what happened is I then created this one-to-one product, and this is a high ticket one-to-one where you will work directly with me on the content strategy, but also directly with me with the building of the monetization. Now, I also have a business partner in this venture where we do it as a joint venture. He has around 70,000 followers on Instagram. His main positioning is content strategy. My main positioning is business ethics, understanding how to leverage social media to generate an income. Now, that is my second tier. Then I have my mid tier, which is my community, which is a course that I built out. It's basically a program, and you get access to that. Now, that is everything you need from start to finish to create content and go up to 100,000 followers plus online. The reality is those people don't need help with business. They are just wanting to solely focus on content. That is my mid-tier ticket option. That's my done with you kind of option, right? And then I have a course. I have a group call every single week that I join and the whole community joins, which is my mid-tier ticket. And then I finally have a do-it-yourself, and that is my course. And what that is, again, that is the community that people get access to, bar the community calls. They don't get access to the community calls. They just get access to the course because people want to learn it themselves. They don't want to pay as much to work directly one-to-one with me. They feel like they can do it themselves. They just want the knowledge. They want the understanding of actually how to create content. And that's my course, that's my program. And I sell that as a low ticket. So this is how I have been able to create what I like to call the digital coffee shop. Thank you, Frederick, for bringing this to my eyes. And this is my ecosystem. Now, the whole point of this ecosystem is to work in one singular way. It's when I hop on sales calls, I don't have to I don't have to rip someone and try to get them straight into one course. What I do is I listen to them. I listen to their concerns, I listen to what they genuinely need, and I sell them on something that I think is gonna be best suited to them. Now, another great thing that I pulled from is from Amex. Amex, and I think a lot of you guys need to be doing this, is when you're looking to build businesses, you need to study there's top businesses out there and their structure, their style. They're doing it for a certain reason. If a business is doing over $1 billion a year, they have something right. They have great employees, they have great knowledge, and you need to research behind this. So, Amex. What Amex does really well is they have gold, platinum, silver kind of timelines, right? Now what happens is, in that venture, when they jump on someone, when someone wants to sign up to Amex and they say, yeah man, I want to join platinum. What Amex does is they listen to them. They say, okay man, what's your credit score? What's your goals? How much are you spending per month? What's the average amount of income you're generating? Where do you want to get to? How much are you going to be spending in the future? All of these kind of questions, right? And they will decide where they best fit. Amex's job isn't to sell you on the highest tier package. Even though at Platinum, Amex probably makes the most amount in commission when it comes to like per person. But the reality is if they put someone on Platinum, that person might not be ready. That person might be over leveraged. That person might not be able to pay the fees, and then it actually impacts negatively on Amex because they have outstanding fees that aren't getting paid. They're taking up occupation that other people could eventually get on. So what their job is to listen to them, and they're to guide them on where they need to go based on their current situation. And I take this into note with my business, and I'm not trying to sell someone on my highest tier package. Yes, of course, if I get someone on my high ticket offer, my one-to-one, it's great. It's the highest profit margin, it's the highest return on income. It's amazing, and I would love everyone to sign on there. But the reality is not every single person is ready yet. That is the caveat. What happens here is, if you do your job right, and if you have trust in the process of your business to get someone to where they want to go, what happens here is, if you sign someone up, let's say for my mid-tier kid option to join my community, and I grow them so much through my course that they get to a point where they are ready to one-to-one because their content's doing so well, they are ready to purchase from my business. The reality is this is how it works. People will then go into my community, they'll pay, and then they'll sign up to be with me to one-to-one because they'll be like, Jake, wow, you've given me so much knowledge, you've grown my account, now I want you to grow my business. And that is where I make my most money, in the upsell, in the referrals. And a lot of people don't do this. I probably get around 50% of my income based on referrals, based on upsells within my ecosystem, because I'm bringing so much attention into my page. My account has 50K, my partner's account has 70K. We have so many eyeballs, so many people joining the community. My job is to not just try sell them all into the high ticket, it's to find where they're best needed, give them the resources and support that they need so they can actually improve, but continue to improve them along the timeline. Now, what the goal is to actually have one singular person, which has happened to me twice now, where I've had someone come to me and purchase my course. They've come to me on the lowest ticket option, the lowest possible option, right, for my course. Then what's happened is I've grown them through my course to a point where they want to be involved in a community. Sorry, I've gone into the bridge. They want to join the community. They want to be part of a community. Then what happens is they've grown so much through content that now they've come to me to my one-to-one. Then what's happened is I've scaled them so much in their business that now they're making so much money, their content's pumping, but the content at the end of the day, without content, they would have had nothing. And they realize the importance of content. And now that they're making income, they say, you know what, Jake, I want you to manage my whole content for me each month. I don't have the time. I need to now run the business that I've made, that I've generated. I want you to do it for me. And that's when I upsell them to my done for you. So now you can kind of see how the ecosystem is kind of working, how the structure is kind of working, and how the different stages of the coffee shop come into play. This is what I call a great LTV. This is what I call a great referral. This is what I call great nurturing. This is how you build a legitimate business. It's not about having one offer, one choice. It's about supporting every single person that comes into your ecosystem, giving them the guidance that they need, and making sure that they have a great experience working with you. If this is someone that's you, if you feel like you are stuck in your content journey, you're not sure who to target, who to post to, you're stuck under 3,000 followers, or you need clarity on the business, you're not sure how to monetize, you're not sure how the back-end system works. How do I convert someone from watching a YouTube video like this, watching an Instagram reel like this, to get to purchase from me? If that's you, I have a Calendly link below, book in. I can't say I can help you because I do have a high waiting list. However, I'll be happy to jump on a strategy call. We can talk about what needs to be done, what stages you're at, and we'll see which one best suits you. Like I said, I'm not here to force you into close. I'm here to see if my systems even work for you. If that's you, send me a message. And I hope you guys learned something in today's episode. We'll speak soon, boys and girls.